Hello everyone and welcome to another video of the Sky channel. Now our extremely intense Barren Land has finally come to an end. So I decided to make a last video on this Barren Land and share how everything went with you. Let's start by taking a look at the map. A reminder, yellow is Sky, purple is DMC, and orange is KoL. On the other side, we have KTA being the turquoise, blue being SYZ, and green being TGM. Let's start with the things that haven't changed. The safe clashes where each team has a huge buff is exactly the same. We still have our safe clash and the blue camp has theirs. Now the south clash, the place where the red camp has the buff, is still owned by us, and that was pretty much the same at the end of stage 2. So not much has changed there. If we go to the north clash, you will notice that there's been some movement. KoL actually decided to go all the way towards the North Wonder. They got pretty close, but they weren't able to successfully get to the Wonder before the challenge period ended. And of course, as of now, there's no real point because now we're in the settlement period. Now, when you talk about the middle clash, it is still completely owned by us. Not much has changed in that regards. And the tree zone is also owned by us. DMC is the one that got the tree in the end, and they definitely deserved it as they actually didn't take any of the wonders. They only got the tree, and of course they worked really hard in the island. Now let's start talking about the statistics. And of course a good place to start would be the Alliance kill ranking. DMC sitting at the top with 38.5 billion kills. Amazing work from them because they worked really hard. They were extremely active throughout the 16 hours of war. Following them extremely closely is KTA with also approximately 38 billion kills. Another very strong alliance filled with many whales and extreme activity. They really pushed our camp hard and made us fight really hard to keep our victory. Following that is KoL with 35 billion kills, another of course top alliance and a really strong one. They did really well as well. Then is Sky with close to 31 billion kills. And of course I am biased, but I will say that the team worked exceptionally hard at a stage like this where it mattered a lot, especially given that the matchup was so close. Our team did a wonderful job and of course they deserve all the credit that I can give them. Then it's SYZ with about 22 billion kills, another very good alliance, another very dedicated alliance, showing up in good numbers and of course with many strong players. TGM with almost 19 billion kills also put in a decent amount of effort. They also have a very strong player in their ranks. Well, actually every alliance does have a strong player in their ranks and you will see that soon. But obviously by the kills you can see that every alliance put in a lot of effort in this barren land because the number of kills in total is absolutely crazy. In total, we're looking at close to 175 billion kills in this island, which is absolutely crazy if you think about it. Now let's go to the personal kill rankings. You can see that the DMC's R5 or DK Ant is almost 23 billion kills all by himself. A one-man army. He really did make a huge impact to this island. And a very interesting thing, he is really close to being the first person to get to 100 billion kills. And I was hoping it would happen during this island and I could show it to everyone, but it didn't. That being said, he is extremely close. Next is Robot, sitting at about 13.7 billion kills. Another very impactful player for this barren land and a very strong one as well. KTA's Wolf coming up next with 10 billion kills, also really tough with multiple level 90 and above insects. You can imagine that he is a force to be reckoned with, and he did give us a really tough time. Then is Kabbalah from SYZ, another very strong carrier main sitting with 6.7 billion kills. And with the fact that he's carrier, he has really low march times, and that actually was pretty annoying because he could get into towers within seconds. Next up is Ukron with 5 billion kills, one of our own Sky members. He did amazing work and he racked up all those kills. Definitely deserves all the appreciation as well. MC from KoL sitting at number 6 with 4.6 billion kills, a very strong account as you can imagine, and you can already see his impact. Number 7 is Killer Ants from Sky with 4.6 billion as well. Not only is he strong, he's also extremely dedicated and shows up regardless of the time of the battle. So a huge impact from there as well. KoL's Ripguts is next with about 4.4 billion kills. As I mentioned before, another very strong account and greatly impactful as well. Number 9 is Silverstone from our Alliance Sky, 4.1 billion kills, a very strong account, and when he's online, he's usually able to turn the battle in our favor. Number 10 is KTA's Polar Bear, which is basically their R5, another strong whale from the blue camp. He also was extremely active and gave us a pretty tough time. I'll scroll down. These are the top 10. You can also see the others. I'll talk over them quickly, like Kevin from DMC, Soul from KoL, a player from TGM, then there's a couple players from KTA, then there's Twilight, who is basically one of the strongest players from the blue camp with 1.9 billion kills, which is low for Twilight, but the fact is that Twilight isn't all that active as she once used to be, but when she is, she can create a huge impact in the war. Then there's Vlad from Sky, and then another player who used to be called Polar Bear, but I guess they changed their name now, from KTA. Then Bugs Curie from KTA, and then another one that was also called Polar Bear from KTA. You can see a lot of KTAs coming up. They have a lot of strong players. And of course, the list goes on. The champion points leaderboard looks something similar. I'm not going to go through it in too much detail because we've already seen it. But here is the champion points leaderboard from our camp. And you can see the bunch of names showing up. Great effort from our camp to secure this victory. Alliance influence rankings, you can see that our 3 allies were obviously the ones that got the most number of buildings. From the blue camp, TGM has the Wonder in the north and a bunch of buildings in the north, so they did have much higher influence than the other blue camp members. But of course, as you can imagine, since we had the tree and the middle clash and the south clash, we did end up having a much higher influence. So as you can imagine, there were some intense battles that happened here. Both our allies and our enemies were extremely strong and extremely dedicated. The whole island was filled with people being up for several hours on the go. People actually took leaves from work to help with the fights. Many people were up at 4 o'clock and they stayed up until 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning to make sure that they continue fighting and they do not give the enemy the chance to take the victory away from us. An absolutely crazy island. One of the craziest experiences that I've had personally. I've never seen so many people online for so long and completely engaged because, non-stop fighting on the towers. And there's just so much on the line that nobody wants to go offline because that could potentially lead to us slipping and losing the island victory. Thank you so much for following along on this Barren Land. I know these videos are short and they probably don't give you the full experience that you would like to get. But the fact is that these battles lasted 16 hours per day. And if I were to record 16 hours of video, you would probably be sleeping before you got to the halfway point. So I try to condense it and give you a summary of what happened in our extremely crazy Barren Land, and hope you're able to experience just a little bit of what it's like being in one of the wildest Barren Lands that I've ever been part of. And since I still have you here, I do want you to know that you can get between 10 to 35% bonus on in-game purchases in the Ants Underground Kingdom. All you need to do is follow the steps in the video that I'm sharing in the description below to find out how you can avail these amazing bonuses. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video, please subscribe to our channel, and I hope to see you in the next one.